Aaron, you already recording your like usual?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
I've been recording since we started.
All right. So I just hit record.
Well, we do the clap now, so I just turn on the recording and I figure I'll let you find the clap and you'll be fine. Not the first time you've gotten the
if it
not
wasn't
the first time
for
you've gotten the clap.
It isn't. You're not wrong.
All right. Are we ready for the clap?
Okay, yeah.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Jason can't even clap himself.
What? I clapped so hard my hands
so
hurt.
soft.
What? My hands sting
like a
right now.
3-year-old hasn't figured out how to use his hand yet.
Well, the microphone and my elbows.
No,
I'm not going to explain myself.
It's on an arm.
I fucked that up too.
Anyway, that was a combination of words.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to B&B Banter Bros Goes to the Movies. I am Timothy Bennett, your host for tonight, and with me is Aaron Banyan and Jason Chandler.
What up?
Hey.
What's up, gentlemen?
How are you, Tim?
I'm tired. I had a very long drive for nothing.
I had a surprise double at work, so I'm a little tired.
For very little payoff.
And sweaty.
Yeah.
It was
cool
very
outside.
early.
It's been really nice the past couple days, so
yeah.
Let's hope it stays this way.
Mm-hmm.
No more hot shit.
It's supposed to be dog shit in the beginning of August.
But we are. I was gonna say we're going into August, and that's always the worst.
Yep. Tonight we're gonna be talking about Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel.
Shut up, Jason.
Captain Marvel,
Fuck
starring
you, Tim.
Brie
You
Larson.
said that
So.
Gotcha, bitch.
I think I called you Tim, but
I think this is our first female lead character in the Marvel universe so far.
And first prequel
For her own, for its own movie and everything.
Yeah,
I don't think we've had one, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because
So we
Black
just
Widow's
had
the
Iron
only
Man.
other female-led one, and she came later.
Yep, she came.
Her
Black Widow.
film came later.
Did Wonder Woman?
Wrong universe.
I know.
We're talking about Marvel Cinematics.
That's not the point.
It is the point, I think. But all right.
Shut the fuck up. Let me get to my point, which is probably going to be a bad point. Let's be honest. But did Wonder Woman debut before or after this movie?
I think it was
Wonder Woman was before this one because I think
this was 2019.
And that's my goddamn point. Wonder Woman kind of made the studios realize, oh shit, this works. This makes money. This plays.
Yeah.
So
Wonder
it
Woman
gave
was
the
2017. So
yeah. So that was my point. Dick faces, and is this also the first prequel? Not prequel, but this takes place in the 90s, right?
80s, 90s.
It's 95 is when she.
Yeah. Is this the first Marvel movie that presets any of the other?
If you want to go in timeline order, Captain America, first Avenger is the furthest back.
Yeah.
Which is
fair enough.
Yeah.
Which was like 50 years before.
It was in the 40s.
Captain Marvel.
So. Yeah. I got 1 out of 2. Fuck yeah.
I thought you were gonna get all your mistakes out.
Well, no. Just the racist ones. All right, we're gonna have to have that in the intro for that to make sense.
So let me put off the details here. So we have Captain Marvel 2019, which is it doesn't feel like, well, when you look at it, it's not that long ago, but it feels like it's been a while.
Yeah.
And it's just because I think
so much has happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's just because that's when COVID started, around that time. And
they
just all the movies Marvel's, they've been pumping out. Yeah.
It was like Marvel's pumped out so much content from there. Like it's
even in the last since COVID. Yeah.
It is PG-13, 2 hours and 3 minutes. I honestly didn't think it felt like the 2 hour movie. But I did
like
feel
a 4 hour more.
I felt like this movie was 12 hours long.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron.
I didn't feel that way, but there were some slower parts that made me go, okay, let's pick it up. Let's move it forward.
Mm-hmm. Slower parts, like her
or they could have been taken out
delivery.
Or something.
Fucking
Channeling Kristen Stewart.
The synopsis of this is Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races. Only two, though. Only two alien races out of the bazillion that we see.
Skrull and
Kree.
Yeah.
This is starring Brie Larson. And Samuel L. Jackson makes his return as Nick Fury, but this is a pre-Shield, whatever he was.
We're gonna have a talk about Nick Fury in this movie.
Yeah, the de-aging. De-aged.
Back in the day when he looked like a fucking lizard.
You did have Jude Law, who I quite enjoyed.
Jude Law was
I'm
good
a sucker for
movie.
Jude Law, so
yeah, he's just a good actor.
Yep. And then you have Digimon Hansu.
Yeah, Jimon Hanshu.
Yeah, he was talking Pokemon characters.
Who played Korath, and he was in the Guardians of the Galaxy. In the beginning of the film, when Chris Pratt's character Star-Lord goes and steals the orb at that temple thing or whatever, he was one of the guys shooting at him.
Yeah,
that's he's a great actor.
Like, when Star-Lord goes, "Oh, I'm Star-Lord," he goes, "Who?"
Yeah, that's him. Lee Pace, who plays Ronan, makes his parents comes back as a little hologram for most of the film that you see him until the end. Yeah, and I don't know. Clark Gregg played Agent Coulson, another de-ager.
Yeah,
a little weird.
But you didn't have to de-age him nearly as much.
It was unnecessary.
Yeah. There's some other people, but nothing.
Yeah, whatever.
The only other one that makes a big difference, I think, is Lashana Lynch, because
Maria Rambeau
played. Yeah, Maria Rambeau.
Is that the mother or the?
She's the friend that the pilot.
Yep.
Okay.
The black chick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to get around that, but you just made it necessary.
Hey, it's my fault. We're making that part of this fucking episode.
And then you had Ben Mendelsohn, I think is how you say his name.
Yeah, Ben Mendelsohn.
He played Telos. Yeah, he's in some stuff.
But he's in tons of shit. You just never know it.
Yeah, exactly. He's in tons of shit. You just never really know it. So,
because the second I saw him as the boss, I was like, "Fuck, I know that guy."
Yeah, I think the most recent thing I've seen him in was the TV show The Outsider, which was based off the Stephen King book.
Oh yeah.
With Jason Bateman in that. He's also the bad guy in Ready Player One. He played Sorrento.
Okay.
Yep. So, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, Aram, he's in a bunch of things. You just never know it.
He's just one of those guys that's prolific. He just never gets like as much acclaim as like Jude Law or Samuel L. Jackson do.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know any of the directors. I've never heard of them before, but Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. So I don't know anything they've done.
Ring any bells?
Nope. I'm sure this is probably one of those where this was like their big hit or their
breakout
major film. They probably did a bunch of
their biggest paycheck.
Yep. But yeah, I don't see anything that I've recognized them do.
What the hell are you looking at, Aaron?
Just reading a little bit about Captain Marvel, just so I can weigh in on something later.
Oh,
did you not watch it?
See. No,
I watched it.
He's got thoughts on something.
I had thoughts and problems,
but he's
abound in this movie.
All right, sorry to ruin that. Yeah,
so the budget was estimated to be $160 million, which is pretty low.
I was like, that's right around the mid card for
Yep.
Ant-Man was 130, I believe, and then the second
for the first one, and then
180 or
the
something.
Second, the second one was 160, 180.
Yeah. Opening weekend domestically, $153 million.
Well, at least it made its money back.
Oh, damn!
Almost.
Yeah, $7 million short. I mean, I would have called that a win.
That's pretty fucking
I would
good.
Too.
Yeah.
I would say it was a win.
Riding the coattails of Wonder
Gross
Woman.
domestic, $426 million.
Serviceable,
so,
at least.
Yeah. It did all right. Worldwide gross, $1 billion.
Holy shit.
That's respectable, I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
Almost $2 billion. But yeah, $1 billion.
Respectable.
Or not.
Well, I mean, comparing to like
billion.
other Marvel movies that have done up in the billions, like $1 billion is respectable. Like,
yeah,
it's not going to be the Avengers movies or anything like that. Like,
well,
that's what I mean when I say respectable.
It did
like,
better than Ant-Man, so
right.
Yeah,
well, I mean it.
But I really feel like
I struggle to say it.
Sorry.
What? Sorry.
No, your points are always better than mine.
I was just gonna say I struggle to say that this movie mattered more than Ant-Man.
Yeah.
But we'll get into why I think that.
Exactly.
It did matter more when you're dealing with the concept of what we're being introduced to. It mattered a lot more than Ant-Man. The only thing Ant-Man really mattered to was
the quantum
realm, which was important.
They
for one little thing
have
to set up everything else, but
both these movies have very small parts that matter in the future endgame.
Yeah, and this one matters because you're dealing with.
Well, they're important, but they're small.
Yeah, you're dealing with the whole galactical scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
That has a lot to do with future films.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all right, well, let's start with it, gentlemen. Did you like it? Let's start with you, Aram. Let's start with you.
I mean, if it could have figured out what the fuck it wanted to do, I probably would have enjoyed it more. My problem was it was a flashback movie. It was a finding yourself movie. It was
in a flashback.
Yeah, it was female empowerment, but they took it in sections. They didn't make it one cohesive like movie.
Yeah.
It was like this section is all about it's in the 90s. That's wacky. Or this is a section where we're all about female empowerment. Or this is a section where like we turn Nick Fury into a fucking comedic act. And so I had a lot of it didn't feel like it knew
and the music
exactly
sucked.
where to go with itself.
Yeah.
Like it knew what it wanted, what it needed to do, but it didn't know how to get there properly.
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to put too many things up to see what worked. And then they realized that they kind of all work together. So we got to do this, but there's a lot to kind of wave through.
Right.
Yeah, I felt bad whoever was the editor. Like they must have had a fucking terrible time trying to piece this shit together.
I'd have lost my fucking mind trying to edit this movie.
And that fucking music, every song, not one of them. They just chose random 90s songs and put them.
It was like, oh, this was a 90s hit. Let's put this one in here.
Exactly. And it did not land any emotional connection or fucking meaningful anything to any of those scenes. And it fucking pisses me off. But yeah, it felt choppy to me.
So Jason, tell us how you really feel. Did you like it?
I don't like the movie.
I wanted to like it. I wanted to.
And I
wanted to be able to say, no, everybody that talks shit about this movie was wrong. But like, I just did not care for it.
And that's how I felt when I first watched it. I was like, this movie's fine. Like it followed the format. It gave me the action. It gave me all the superhero bullshit. But upon rewatch and giving a fuck and having this podcast and talking about with you guys about movies more and focusing on details, no thanks.
Yeah.
This is the second time I've watched it.
This is the first time I've watched it all the way through.
You couldn't even finish it?
This is my third because I watched it in theaters and then I think I watched it like a year ago. And then I just rewatched it last night or yesterday.
Is it Kaylee's fault? Is that why you watched it again?
No.
A year ago?
No. I like this movie.
No shit. Okay.
But saying that,
changed my mind.
I don't disagree with what you guys are saying either. Like, especially you, Aram. Like, there's a lot of convoluted issues, and it's not even plot holes or anything necessarily.
Right.
That I have the issue with. It's just. Like you said, they were piling a bunch of kind of different things.
Know what they wanted to do.
Yeah, and certainly the plot is cohesive enough. It's just like
and that's where you needed all those things to fit. So they had all these things, and they're like, oh wait, we can't really do this without having this. Oh wait, we can't do this without having this. And then they just let's keep them all.
Yeah,
and
so
Brie's deadpan delivery, her lack of emotion, like
yeah,
there was no connection there, and it really it fucked me up.
Before we dive into that.
Okay.
Did you like Brie Larson in it? Without giving too much detail, because we can dive into that in just a second. But did you like Brie Larson? Because one of the issues that the internet blows up about is they want to replace Brie Larson.
I forgot about why.
I don't know. I don't know why.
I can't remember why either. I just remember them.
I don't think anybody knows why.
Yeah.
It's just this hate against Brie Larson, and they think that somebody else could do better.
Well, it's probably.
Did you like it? Did you like
lack
Brie
of
Larson?
emotion and acting delivery skills?
Well, she's a phenomenal actress, though.
She is. She's coming. She came into this movie off of winning an Oscar for Room, right?
Room. Well,
is that the movie she wrote and directed?
I think it was a couple of years ago.
But she's an Oscar winner at this point,
and she's got clout. That's a tough movie to watch.
That's not a fucking good argument.
Right. But that's what I mean. Like, she's bringing that kind of clout, those kinds of chops into Captain Marvel, and if you look at it with someone who has amnesia, so basically someone with a traumatic brain injury, like, it's not as bad as you think. Like, she has moments where she emotes very well. I do think that she has a lot of trouble coming off with certain emotions, like her frustration at not understanding who she is, like in that one scene towards the end where she's like, I don't even know who I am. Like, I was like, you don't even seem that upset. You seem like you're throwing a tantrum more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that.
But like, so I mean, she has her moments where she does well, like, and it's when she's being snarky to Jude Law. Like, her and Jude Law had great chemistry.
They did.
I thought
they did. I agree.
I thought they had great chemistry.
Same thing.
Oh yeah, the mentor and
yeah, her acting off of Samuel L. Jackson was okay. To me, like, I didn't think it was the greatest, but it was okay.
You know what made
Samuel
L.
Jackson actually carried it more than she did.
Yes, and that's why it made it work. It was her reacting to Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Yeah. And it was a one-way delivery because it's Samuel L. Jackson. And
any of us would look good doing that shit.
Yeah, he's leading the conversation all the time. And she's basically just responding to little things.
Mm-hmm. And any other
almost
time,
like she's amused by what he's saying.
Any other time, she does not emote properly or at all. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, if you look at it from someone that has a traumatic brain injury, like, I kind of can see like muting some of that because I think that's how some of them may act.
It's not even just a brain injury. It's we find out what happened. So she obtained this force, this energy. So who knows what it would have really done to her.
And with the way the Kree are supposed to be disciplined, like there's that aspect too. I mean, it's hard to draw the line where it's the way the character is written versus the way she's portraying the character.
Yeah.
But I can see parts of the movie, her acting being problematic.
So did you like her or not like her?
I think she has a great look for the character. I think she pulls it off well.
Would you rather see somebody else?
I could not see anybody else doing it because I don't know enough about the character.
Yeah.
To really know who I'd replace her with. Other than, I would think that because I have a great infatuation for her, I would maybe bet that Charlize Theron could do the character.
Yeah, but that's not fair.
I know it's not fair, and it's in part it's like I'm biased because I think Charlize Theron would. I would let her do terrible things to me. So
she's amazing though, and she could do it better because she's amazing.
Right.
So she could do.
But that's really my only thought process on that is like that's really the only one I can off the top of my head think of. But I mean, otherwise, like I don't know. And again, like it may just be the way the character was written, and that's not her fault.
It might be.
Jason. Yay or nay for Brie? Did you like her or not like her?
I don't like her, and I don't know why. She's just very fucking in limbo, purgatory. Something about her like she's like
she just doesn't register for
she's
you.
like my musician abilities. I'm not fucking whack, but I'm not fucking worth $1 million. So she's just right. I don't know.
Difference is you do not have an Emmy.
and back to that
at this point.
I'm sorry, but that shit doesn't matter. That's politics. Those are fucking favors. That's things we don't behind the scenes.
I don't disagree with that.
This isn't B&B Banter Bros conspiracy hour.
Thank you, Aaron. Exactly what it is. It's all just me, just fucking
I don't disagree though. When it comes to awards and things, I still go back to Leonardo DiCaprio. That motherfucker should have won an award when he did What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Because it's all votes and
nobody's done a better job like that than fucking than him as a Gilbert Grape. Like as a,
to be fair, I'm also not the guy to ask because I don't know if I've seen The Room. I don't know any of her other.
The Room is an entirely different movie.
Yep.
Oh, or whatever the.
That's the disaster artist.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I haven't, but I haven't done the research or the due diligence to like judge her. So I feel terrible like saying I'm not happy with her.
But you can say it as a viewer.
I'm also in the middle. Like I didn't hate her. I didn't like her.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
know.
You're in limbo. It's not that she's in limbo. It's that you're in limbo.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You're on the fence about her is really what you're saying.
And like,
you are on the
and
fence.
like everybody, it's all about me.
I like the way you said it. Me.
I liked her.
Okay.
Aaron, you kind of said a lot of how I feel about it. Because I look at it as the character. Like I don't know much about this character in the comics. I don't know how it was portrayed. I never read a Captain Marvel.
I would assume the Mohawk helmet thing is in the comics.
It's in the comics, yeah.
I fucking hated that shit. It did not look good.
But I liked Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I thought she did fine. I think she looked good.
And
I think
she's a great actress. Yeah. So you've seen a lot of her shit?
I've seen a handful. Like I've seen Room.
She's only done a handful, right? She hasn't done.
Yeah, she hasn't been like extensive work, but she's done some stuff like earlier on. It wasn't that great.
Okay.
But it's also not my.
As they all have.
Room is the one I've seen. I'm like, my God, it is hard for me to watch because it's fucked up. But like,
I heard it was a rough movie.
It's a rough movie. It's
fucked up. In what way?
It's about her. A girl. Brie Larson is a girl who get kidnapped, and then her kidnapper raped her, had a child with her for 5 years or 8 years, I think.
Stockholm syndrome.
No, not even that. He just keeps her in a hole.
He just keeps her in a shed.
Oh, that's
built a shed, and that's where they stay for like 5 or 8 years.
That's why it's called Room. Like that's the only thing they know.
It's like the size of a prison, you know.
Yeah.
And they sleep, they cook, they bathe all in this one room. And this kid, it's just him and her. And he like has to sleep in the closet when the guy comes in to have his way with
don't say it. Yeah. Okay.
It's messed up, but it's based off a book too. And I read the book and I've watched the movie and it's enough to stick with me. I don't ever want to watch it again.
Because
it's really good, but it's rough.
There's a reason she probably won an award for that one.
Oh God!
Was her acting chops like top notch in that film? Is that what sold it? And did she deserve
in that film? She did good. Yeah,
Yeah.
She did good. I think other people could have done it better, like Charlize Theron, but she's also not a prolific actor. So
yeah, she's young.
Yeah, like, she hasn't been doing it all that long. So, but I don't think she was bad as Captain Marvel. As
the amnesia perspective is that helps sell it.
Yeah, and I like Aram said that she was in an accident. She doesn't know who she is. She just thinks that this is what she has, and she has these images. I just think that it's the way that her characteristics are. I liked that deadpan, that those one little liners. I liked it. Yeah. I thought that it added just enough of a different character to go. It's almost quirky, but how else would you deal with shit that you don't know about, you know?
And like this is one of those things that like you don't know how the comic book version of the character is, like because we don't know. Like I say, I don't know the character enough to know if she's doing justice to the comic book or if it's like the writing or what it is. Like I think that's the other thing to look at, because I mean the character may be like that in the fucking books.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Like for all we know, like
that's what I'm saying. I fucking feel terrible for not liking it. I don't know enough to say negative things.
I liked her. And I think that she did an excellent job at doing the fight scenes and the physicality and all that stuff. She came off as a badass.
Yeah. The action was
supposed to be a badass.
Mm-hmm.
and she's, I
feel like
whatever.
they dumbed down her badassery a little bit, but
I wouldn't know if they dumbed down. I just think that they didn't really like, what do you want to call it?
Reading what she's supposed to have for powers essentially versus like what they give you in the movie, even after all is said and done. I don't feel like they did the character justice in that respect.
Because they're not supposed to. She's not supposed to give her full potential and we find out at the end. She doesn't know her powers until the very end.
That's the only time that we go, where she closes her eyes, meditates, and then gets full powers. I don't know why I hate that type of trope, but it happened again.
All she did was fly. That's all.
All she did was get pushed off a cliff like a fucking baby bird, and then was forced.
And they learned to fly.
Learn to fucking fly.
They either fly or they die. So, what's wrong with that? You didn't like how realistic it was?
I didn't like the mohawk.
She didn't have it. No, she did. She did. But, I think that. I just think that the way the story was written is, I wanted to see more. This whole kind of origins, discovering her powers thing is the thing I didn't really care for.
That was on the back burner for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't care for it.
Let's talk about that goddamn story.
Oh, you mean where they...
Let's try to figure this out.
Yeah, I was like, this movie could not find a story to tell for more than 30 minutes.
There it is.
Because I mean, it's her struggling to become, an actual Kree soldier, and then she gets stuck on Earth, and then she has to defy orders to go stop the Skrulls, and then it's a buddy cop movie for about 30 minutes between her and Samuel L. Jackson, and then it's 30 minutes of female empowerment, and then it's the penultimate area of the movie is like the classic the
amnesia.
Yeah, this is like, I'm not amnesia. I don't have amnesia. Yeah, it's the
Who am I?
It's the memory coming back scene, and it's drawn out, and like they were,
and then it's the bad guy twist
to check, and they check them all.
Yeah, the
I'm on the wrong side.
Twist. Yeah,
and I did enjoy the way she defeats Jude Law, and then just like drags him to a ship and sends him off, and he's just like, I can't go back empty-handed. I thought that was actually pretty good.
I did like how she holds out her hand like, I'll help you up. I have nothing to prove you. I'll help you up.
She's just dragging him along.
Exactly. It turns to that. And then,
I like the way she dispatched him. And it wasn't like she didn't murder him. They didn't imprison him. Mm-hmm. It was like, you go back and tell them I'm coming.
Right.
And it was the scene from Tombstone when Kurt Russell says, you tell the rest of them that the law is coming.
Yeah.
Like it was that exact like feel.
Yep.
And I enjoyed that. I will say I enjoyed that scene.
I did like that little. I didn't.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Mm.
We just didn't have that.
I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. Yeah, she didn't have a Doc Holliday. I think they wanted it to be Samuel L. Jackson, but they were too busy making him a joke. Which I really had a problem with in this movie.
The cat,
human
or cat,
non-threat to none, or low threat to none.
Yeah, low threat.
Well, that thing's broken.
Threat level low to none.
Mm-hmm.
They de-aged, or they reverse aged Samuel L. Jackson, then turned him into a comedic bit for 45 minutes, and I was so infuriated by that whole thing because like when he gives his name and he's like, "What do they call you, Fury?" and like he's giving that part, he's trying to be a badass, and then he is from there on the butt of joke after joke after joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you took somebody who you've ostensibly made throughout this whole series. All these movies into one of the biggest badasses, a leader, and you turn him into a walking punchline for a movie.
Yes,
I was infuriated by that.
It took him 20 years to be a badass. Apparently, is what
no, he was a badass prior because he was a soldier, he was a spy, he was all this stuff.
This movie made it.
I agree with what you're saying. This is the moment where it was like they need a desk job, and then he's what is he, captain or something like that?
He's just like he's like a desk jockey in S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Like,
but he's high ranking. That's the only thing we do know.
He's well respected desk.
But I agree with you. He was this butt of the joke, and he's not supposed to be funny. We know that because he says that in the other films. Does it look like I'm laughing or am I making a joke?
He's always been a straight man. He doesn't do jokes.
And this I agree. This is that moment.
And it just reduced him to a punchline for a whole movie. And I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me.
And we don't get to see him be a badass.
At all.
Like we saw him be more of a badass in the other films.
He is also I cannot watch Samuel L. Jackson run next to people that are in better shape than him. Like when they're running from the agents and she's like, you called it in. He's like, my bad. And he's just kind of trundling behind her. I was like, stop. First of all, you de-aged him. He should be running better than that. I know he can run better than that because I've seen him do it in other movies.
Yeah.
This is again, it's like you've just reduced him to this punchline. It was probably one of my biggest faults in this movie was that they did such a disservice to Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
And that ending, that fucking ending when he's in the office and he's like doing the Protector initiative and then he sees the picture of her and like sees that her nickname was Avenger. Kiss my dick. Like I hated that.
Yeah. And the whole fucking, the conversation, go ahead, Tim.
And something that you brought up before, but he keeps referring it to S.H.I.E.L.D. And yet in Iron Man,
they hadn't figured out the name yet. That's right. I just remember
Thor,
that. Yeah.
The Thor.
Yeah. They hadn't pieced together the name. Yeah.
But
yeah, in Iron Man 1, they hadn't even like mentioned that they had a name.
But we kind of talked about that before where it may have just been him. You know, it may have just been Coulson who kept trying to use the full name and not because he's kind of like that straight guy, like by the book kind of figure. So I still go by the fact that it was Coulson who wasn't wanting to say S.H.I.E.L.D. He wanted to say the whole thing.
Right. For sure.
But whatever.
Seems like his character's personality though.
Because you brought that up like a while ago, Aram.
Yeah.
It stuck with me. And this was one of those films. He kept saying S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm like, but they don't know that it's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right. Yeah.
They haven't figured that out yet. We know that because of Thor.
Right. Well, it doesn't. I mean, they also have Peggy Carter. Isn't Peggy Carter called like Peggy Carter, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah. And they mentioned that in the one shot that they did that she was going to be leading S.H.I.E.L.D. They mentioned this before. So it's been S.H.I.E.L.D. the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
But apparently Coulson doesn't know that it's been S.H.I.E.L.D. even though he's been here this long because he was the rookie. Maybe that's
side note. They make Coulson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I feel like they make him way more like loosey goosey than like he's portrayed in any of the movies.
Yeah, I agree.
They Nick Fury'd him in this movie. They're just like he's the comic relief or whatever.
No, he's not even comic relief.
He's always been the one shot remarks that are funny.
He's a straight man to most people's comedic bits. Like when he's talking to Thor or talking to Iron Man, they'll make jokes off of shit he says. So he's the straight man.
Oh, yeah. All right.
He's funny on it. Like the actor the actor that plays him can be very funny. I've seen him in other shit.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But in this, his character is the straight man.
So while we're talking about the de-aging, we don't like the de-aging. We're making that very clear. None of us liked it.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
We didn't believe it.
It's probably because we know no.
Yeah, it looked way too.
He looks like exactly. Is that why I'm thinking lizard? It felt very scaly and like.
I thought I like Tim's. It looked like mannequins.
Yeah,
there you go. I like that. Yeah.
But how did we like the CGI otherwise?
I was on board for it. Like I thought the rest of it was well done. Like
there was a few moments where it was like obvious, but that's fine.
Well, I mean, watching the Skrull like transform, I thought was a little over the top, but like still entertaining enough.
It works. I want to say I accepted it.
Yeah.
I think at that point I just accepted it, but I thought it was almost lazy or cheesy. I hadn't been able to figure out what it was. It just feel like it didn't have enough.
I actually feel like it didn't. It sat in the middle. It didn't go far enough into the transformation, and it didn't stay far enough back.
I think,
you know what I mean? Like they were right in the middle. Like you got
that's
just
how I feel about it. Yeah,
yeah.
Because I accepted it. It was fine.
Yeah,
but at that point,
like
I was already kind of invested in it.
It could have been done better, or don't do it at all. One of the two.
Yeah,
because you can easily do a cutaway like from the shot to like do the transformation. They've done it in other movies.
I'm just glad they didn't do what they did for Mystique.
I'm
just glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Whereas like
that weird like that paneling or whatever scales. Yeah, not paneling.
I'm glad they didn't do something like that. But
yeah, I agree.
And I think this was a very beautiful film when you get the galactical energy and stuff like that, those colors and things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was amazing. It was
beautiful.
Flying around and shit. Yeah, it was quite the spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about the Kree? Or not the Kree, sorry, the skull. The scroll.
The
scroll. The scroll.
This is the introduction of scrolls, right?
Yeah. This is the first
that we get to know them.
Yeah,
we've heard the words.
We see them.
They may have mentioned them, but you don't. This is like the first time you get to know them.
I don't recall if they mentioned Skrulls before, so this might be the whole introduction in general.
Okay.
Well, they may have mentioned it in like Guardians of the Galaxy, like because of the Kree or at war, but
maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But this is where we really get to know what the fuck.
We at least get to see it.
Yeah.
And I legit thought that the twist that they were actually the good guys, like that they're just trying to, that they're refugees essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was actually really good. I really enjoyed that aspect.
It was cool.
It worked really well.
Yep.
I agree.
It was super cliche.
It was a saving grace of this film.
I don't know how I feel about their idea of like we need the light speed engine, and then like it was all about getting to the lab to find us. I don't know if I cared for that as much.
The Captain Marvel,
because they treated the Tesseract at that point almost like they treat it in the Loki series. Like it's just like a toy. They throw it in a lunchbox. It's like, I know we don't know. They're not supposed to know that they're Infinity Stones at that point, but something that powerful shouldn't just be tossed. You shouldn't be able to toss it around like that.
As a member of the audience, knowing as much as we know, they didn't take it as serious.
And that's why they did it the way they did it. It was that reaction to go, we know as the audience that they shouldn't be doing that. They don't know. They don't know.
It's hard to connect with it though.
You know, it's just a glowing box.
I don't know.
So
it's just, I just for some reason I had a problem with the way they treated the Tesseract.
And it was the third time.
I had a problem with disrespect of like other things that we already knew about in this continuity.
Right, and it was like the third or fourth time we're dealing with the Tesseract, so it was hard to fucking care.
But the thing is it wasn't a focus, and that's the whole point about it. That's why it was okay that they brought the Tesseract back, because it's not a focus. It wasn't about the Tesseract.
That's a good
They didn't
point,
give a fuck about the Tesseract. It was about everything else that was going on, and that's why they literally just threw it away. They just put it in the box, did their thing, let the cat eat it, continue on, because it wasn't about the Tesseract.
That's a good point. I'm an asshole. I just roll my eyes when I hear Tesseract at this point.
Small blip. Isn't the Tesseract supposed to be under the ice with Captain America?
They recovered it.
I think they
recovered it when they take him out of the ice, don't they? I thought they got it
simultaneously. I thought it was before.
I thought he crashed the ship. I thought he crashed the ship because the Tesseract was on board and was gonna.
You got to remember, this is 95, right?
Yeah.
So
he's still
in 2008.
Damn it, Aaron.
Is when the Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then in 1940 something is when he went down.
Yeah, probably like 1946.
Oh yeah, absolutely 40s.
And then prior to that was when Red Skull took it out of the Nordic sculpture and that wherever they were.
Yeah.
So
I swore that the Tesseract was on the ship that Captain America crashes. Yeah. And so I thought it was
they recovered
the ice
it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like they recovered.
But I thought they recovered at the same time
they
recovered the captain, don't they?
Maybe.
That's where I was confused. That was the part that confused me.
I'm confused with this as well.
Separate, but I have no.
We may have to look into that and talk about it next time.
Because I feel like that was the part that I went, oh, wait a minute. Now that the Flurkin has eaten the fucking cube, like, why the fuck is this thing still here? Like, I was flummoxed by that. Was the one big thing that I had to like sit and like question.
Answer. That's a good question.
We'll get back to that because we'll have to figure it out because I'm confused now. That we need to figure that out. Why they did, it was probably
because that's a definite continuity problem.
That is a huge continuity problem.
And I would like to throw this in the Fodge's face.
Let's move on from that and go back to the story a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that mentor storyline where Jude Law is trying to, I don't know, make Carol Danvers like a part of her team, like or his team or whatever. How did you like that? Like training and trying to make her a powerful weapon and all that stuff.
It was an interesting take on like a villain. I guess that would be the right way to coin it. To think that he decided to use her for the good of the Kree. I mean, and like it was his fault that this all occurred. He was trying to get to whatever. Like, I think the idea that he caused Carol's amnesia essentially, and like all her misery, all her torment, puts him in the spot to be the villain of the movie. And I think the fact that he was at the same point trying to teach her to make her a powerful weapon for the Kree. I feel like it was interesting because, like I say, I love Jude Law's, Brie Larson's
he had a bit of
chemistry. It wasn't even guilt. I don't think he had odd affection for her because
it was like he was trying to make up for it by making. I don't know. He was trying to use her as a super weapon, but also make her.
I feel like he was attached to her because he believed he made her and believed in her and discovered her. Like it was his idea, so he was attached to her from that respect.
Right.
And because she's an actual being, I assume he got some level of attachment. But they're also very much in control of their emotions. So
yeah. It wasn't.
I don't know how much of it is true affection versus like hubris.
Yeah, it's so fucking. I don't know.
I don't think I disagree with that, Aaron.
Right?
I think my issue, it comes down to like Jude Law's hubris by nature, I guess.
It's not like emotional attraction. It's a fucking.
I think it just comes down to it's not like an ego. It's like it's a little bit of a bigger picture. Like an ego isn't
he
quite
sees,
the thing.
He sees what she can be and wants to get her to
wants
that
to
point.
harness that and use it for his own.
Yeah,
but he wants to be in control.
Comes with these selfish desires as well.
It's like
he wants to unleash.
It's like Loki with the Chitauri. Wow, that took some moments. It's the same concept. Like he saw what the Chitauri could do and could be for him.
Yeah.
So he tried to he wanted to control them. It's that same thing on some levels, at least, between Jude Law and Brie Larson.
It is a little difficult because he wanted it for himself, but he also respected her and wanted her to be the best she could be for her shit, but he wanted to use that to his advantage.
I'm not even sure it was respect so much as it's the way that the Kree are and the way the Kree teach.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Like, I think that's just the way that the society is.
The military way of thinking.
Yeah, it's a military, like, I think it's an autocracy at that point because it's led by one hive mind.
Nice.
Not hive mind, but like one like intelligence. Like, I think it's an autocracy. I hope I'm using that phrase right.
I don't care. I never heard the word before in my life, so I'll believe you. But yeah, I get the conflict here in what we're talking about. But I don't know.
So
I like it.
I found some answers.
Tim's been looking up the fucking Tesseract thing this whole time. I knew he was just by the way he was watching his phone.
I found some answers that work. Good.
Lay them on us.
Some people apparently had issues with this too because they've been diving down that rabbit hole to.
Of course,
glad somebody took the time.
The three of us are never original. All right.
So, 1995, Earth, Carol retrieves the Tesseract. We just talked about that. In 1945, it fell in the Arctic Ocean with Captain America.
Yeah.
We do not know when the Tesseract was recovered, but it was Howard Stark who recovered it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And that's where I was questioning that because you were talking about it. We knew it was recovered, but I thought it was Howard.
That's why I thought it was not simultaneous. I thought Howard got it before.
When did they show Howard recovering? Was it like a cutscene?
It's like an intro scene or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's a quick fucking blip in one of the movies.
No, thinking about it, now that I've thought about it, I feel like it might be somewhere at the end of Captain America, First Avenger. you might see him digging it out some like in a post credit.
That seems right.
Yeah.
Well,
I forgot about that.
1980s, the Nevada project Pegasus begins, and they had that. It was in the compound, the military compound that Dr. Laura
Marvell.
Marvell.
Marvell
Took the
Annette Bening.
She insists.
Yeah, took the Tesseract from that. So, given her position and military rank and all that stuff as a scientist or whatever, and then her alien abilities, she was able to steal it basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1989, that's when Danvers absorbed the power, and they're using Tesseract power. So it makes sense now to say that she has a little bit of the power of the Infinity Stone. But it's only through the harnessing energy that Annette Bennett's
Annette Bening's Marvell.
Marvell, was able to harness to create that engine or whatever that thing. So they pieced it together.
That's
but
good.
The only fact that we don't really know is what year it was retrieved from. But it was Howard Stark who retrieved it.
Okay. Asked and answered then. Good. Glad we figured that out.
But my God, I had to look up, and then I found Tesseract timeline.
Okay.
So somebody literally went through from the beginning of the Tesseract all the way to the last moment that we see the Tesseract.
Thank you, person.
So which Infinity Stone is the Tesseract? By
Space.
Space?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to gather an understanding of why she gets the power she does from the Tesseract. I don't necessarily get the photon blasts.
Well, that has to do with her, because it's not pure Tesseract power. It's mixed with whatever else that she had to do. Yeah. So, because she's a scientist, so like whatever her capabilities to create this thing was what all that chemical and stuff. And the only way that Cara Danvers was able to take that power and be able to use it is because
that engine.
Well, she shot the engine, but it infused with her DNA.
Yeah.
So the fact that it infused with her DNA, it kind of rewrote her DNA, and that's the only way that she was able to.
You know, the Ninja Turtles already did that shit.
Every origin story, it's always a fucking hybrid.
Yeah, right.
This person is so special. It mixed perfectly with this fucking scientific liquid.
Yeah.
And she's not even Cree blood. That's the weird part.
Well, I mean, Jude Law's character actually says at some point that he transfused some of his own blood into her. So she's like she's a hybrid.
There we go. She is a hybrid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe the energy was able to stay within it, but for her to be able to use her energy, she had to have that blood to make it to use it or whatever.
I was just trying to understand, because like they're like, oh, you get like, it was, when they say, oh, I already blew up the engine. Well, you blew up the engine, but the power source for the engine is in the lab.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what the fuck? I'd forgotten the Tesseract was in this movie. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Me too.
I forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah, let's move on.
I got so mad about
my favorite scene is Stan Lee reading the Mallrats.
I like that too. The two lines that he had, and he's just repeating it over and over and over.
Yeah. And that's funny because once again, I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan.
Yep.
And Kevin Smith, the only issue with he's been in some Stan Lee has been in Kevin Smith films, and Stan Lee has very few lines in those films. But Stan Lee has terrible time getting those lines right. It takes so many shots. And Kevin Smith loves Stan Lee to no end, but he's a director. He gets frustrated by how many takes it takes for Stan Lee to get that shit right. So for the joke is that like him just practicing not to let down Kevin Smith and there's some kind of fucking credit scene, and maybe I don't know what it is, but they talk about it between the two of them, and it's fucking hilarious. It's adorable. So I'm applying to all that bullshit I'm trying to fucking ramble on about to the scene that I saw here today.
I saw that it was Mallrats, but I mean, the timing just seemed this. Yeah, I forgot the timing of the fact that it was like Mallrats probably came out right around that time.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what made that joke work so well.
Yeah, and obviously
it was the right time, and it was great.
Yeah, and this was, and we have to say this was the last movie that Stanley appeared in before he died. Well, that's why if you watch the beginning, they have all those shots of Stan Lee instead of like the regular characters. It was in tribute to the fact that he died before this movie. I think before this movie was released, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't recall.
I feel like they got like a CGI thing going on in a.
Well, they CGI'd him into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, that's what it was. But
yeah, he's into the Spider-Verse technically.
Well, I'm getting a little sad because we've done all these episodes. This is 21st episode of all these Marvel ones, and we never talk about Stan Lee and his little cameos. And that's fine because I don't know. I guess they're just.
I think we've mentioned it a couple times, but
we don't gush over it because they're just. We've never made it a point,
and I've always thought about like, oh, maybe we should make it a point and see how we think about it real quick. But I like
him. I like his.
I love the fact that he makes these cameos. Yeah, I love the cameos.
He's in all of them.
He's even in the Spider. He's even in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man ones.
Yeah.
I did like the Ant-Man one, Ant-Man and Wasp cameo.
Is that
he goes to enter the car, and then the car like shrinks or whatever. And he's like, that's why I should stop drinking or something like
that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually think my favorite's always been Into the Spider-Verse when he's selling Miles Morales the Spider-Man costume. And like it's just that weird moment. He's like, well, what if it doesn't fit? And he just goes, it always fits.
It always fits.
Like it was just like, it is, if you look at it.
It's a dirty joke for Stanley. No? Okay. I'm a pervert.
Oh my God. Fuck are you talking about?
It always fits.
Don't besmirch that scene. That scene actually made me tear up. Fuck you.
All right, we don't think alike. I'm a pervert.
God, I mean, so am I. But I mean, I didn't. What the fuck?
He has his limits.
Tim, you got a favorite Stan Lee fucking cameo you could think of? Since we're on the topic.
I don't know. I really like Thor.
One was.
He's like, did I get it?
Yeah. He's like, all right, don't move.
He's the one driving the truck trying to pull Mjolnir out of the ground.
No, not that one. Not that one. The Thor Ragnarok. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. When he's cutting his hair.
Oh yeah.
Thor's hair. Yep. I just like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All the cameos he does are nice. They're
they always give you a smile.
The other one I always remember is Spider-Man 2 when he's fighting Lizard, or no, maybe he's not fighting Lizard, but they're fighting through the library and like Stan Lee is the librarian, but he's got his fucking headphones on, so he doesn't hear anything. He's just doing the books while there's a fight going on behind him. I enjoyed that one too.
We might have to do like a special episode about Stan Lee.
We'll just do a Stan Lee episode one day.
Yep.
It's true. We can add it to our little James Gunn other director type shit or special persons.
It'll be a much different dive because there's not like movies we're going to talk about. We'll probably get into like comics and stuff. But
I'm okay with that. We could do that.
I mean, yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
But he gave direction to everything that we're talking about now.
Shit, yeah, he did.
What's up, Tim?
I wanted to talk about the Skrull real quick.
Yeah.
So we know very little about the Skrull, but we learn a little bit more about them here.
Mm-hmm.
We do know, if anybody knows anything about the comics, that they play a big part later on, especially like I think the way that they're going to introduce them into the film. But they play a big part.
Invasion?
Yeah, the Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
But they play a big part.
Wars, I think.
Yeah, they played a big part in the comic book
timelines that like kind of connect to each other. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like between the Kree, the Skrull, and the Inhumans, they're basically the three that started civilization on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Like the Inhumans or the Eternals?
Inhumans. The ones who live on the other side of the moon.
Oh, okay.
We have, and I'm not talking about the movies. We're talking about the comics.
Yeah, I don't know enough about the comics and humans.
Yeah, because humans were already here when the Eternals came, and they just helped.
Okay.
Basically, they just kind of helped make human life better, and then stayed out of it.
All right.
Right.
But the Inhumans were the ones that they basically, like, all humans were supposed to come from the Inhumans. And they were like a science project from, I believe, the Kree. And there's this whole thing. Yeah. So you're dealing with the comic book world. What do you think we're going to get? Why do you think we were introduced to the Skrull now and this? Why do you think it played such a big part? Because we know nothing about them. They didn't really explain much of why they were here, other than they were just introduced as a plot line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they leave enough open to say that there's more to them, because you find out that the Skrulls in and of themselves they're refugees, and they're scattered at this point. Like, because there's a throwaway line where like, oh, there's more of like, you found my family, but there's more all over the universe. That was why they wanted the light speed engine to. Yeah, there's thousands. So I mean, there's room to make a number of different movies, or a number of different like stories from that. You can involve any of the spacefaring characters. You know, you've got Thor can be involved in the Skrull storyline, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, any of the ones that end up in space somehow.
Yep.
Like on purpose, not like fucking Iron Man does in Infinity War. Anyone that's there on purpose, like, can be involved in the idea of like helping the Skrull and doing this, and you know, trying to fend off the Kree. Although the timelines would have to be finagled later on or something. Yeah, they'd have to be finagled somehow. But
so you do believe that the purpose of this is to bring them in later on?
I believe there will be they'll become a central point to a storyline at some point.
Okay,
that's because I don't think you would waste the time to build enough I don't want to say remorse, background, enough like emotional connection to the idea that they're refugees and you feel sorry for them. You want to see them like moved forward, like, and saved.
So when they pop back up in the future, you're like, fuck,
it's not a shock or a surprise.
They're more
you're excited. Oh yeah, those guys.
They're more than a save the cat prop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's my thought process on it.
Because Skrull, isn't there a theory where like Nick Fury in the next few movies isn't Nick Fury? He's like a Skrull, like he's off planet and he's with those people, or fuck the Skrulls.
I haven't heard this theory at all, so I don't know.
Shit, fuck, I don't know.
You're gonna have to get a bibliography put together and like cite your sources.
All right, Professor, I'll get it. And then but
especially if you're dealing with fan theories, that's
they're
interesting, but like you're dealing with a lot of what if.
And I think, fuck, you're right. It might be a fan theory, but
those are interesting and they make some very amazing points when you read some of those or check some of those out. But it's like,
you give anybody enough time, they'll put together. You can put together a theory. Like I can probably put together a theory that Captain America is a Hydra agent the whole time if I really try.
Yeah. All right, but
there is an evil Captain America where he does become a Hydra.
Yeah, no one liked that timeline. Everyone fucking revolted when they did that.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, but yeah, if Secret Wars is the fucking new end game for Phase 4 or Phase 5 for Marvel, then
and like I said, without
they
knowing
would have to pop back up exactly,
because we do know that if anybody's paying attention to the phases and stuff, we know, and if that's supposed to deal with the secret invasion or whatever, it's supposed to deal with the Kree and the Skrull and all that stuff. But my point is,
we're getting Secret Invasion,
and it's so
okay.
And my thing about this was I liked the characters and I wanted to see more. I like how they were done too.
Yeah.
And I just felt like there was this throwaway moment. I just felt like these characters, like, we want them, but they didn't establish them.
Yeah,
like, I just felt like this movie didn't establish them like they do other things when they introduce characters.
It was an
even
introduction
blips,
of
and
them.
this was half the film that we're dealing with these characters. But other films have just blipped somebody in there, and they're established. They're coming back. You know what I mean? And in this one, I just didn't feel that. I didn't feel like we were established that we're ever going to see these guys again. I want to.
Yeah, I mean,
but
because I feel like wasn't Secret Invasion supposed to be about the Skrull infiltrating the world?
And that's what I'm trying to fucking stammer about. You never, they're so camouflage or incognito. Like you never know.
Shapeshifters.
You can never trust if it is or isn't one of them. So it's always just something to think about. So when they do bring it to the forefront, it'll probably be something badass. And that's probably why
maybe. And I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's probably why Phase 4 has been so all over the place and just building up to this no end game because
maybe it will be Nick Fury.
Yeah,
who's actually a Skrull.
It'll just be it'll be one of those things like all of a sudden we're gonna have a show or a movie and all of a sudden it's gonna be like, hey, you remember those guys we had way back? Yeah, they're back.
And my theory was in Endgame or one of the There's fuck. I'll remember when I would watch it. It's in the
use your words.
Use your brain.
Maybe tomorrow.
Put the hamster back on that wheel.
You stammered out about a third of a thought, and then you kind of lost us.
Don't act like you're not used to this.
I was just trying to get you to get to the point, like so we knew what you were talking about.
I appreciate it, and I totally I gave up.
Are you excited? Because
now it's not the time.
Captain Marvel again.
Oh yeah, they're making another movie.
Yeah, the Marvels.
Yep.
I hope that it does a better job of storytelling. I don't know who's involved in it, but I hope that it makes a more cohesive story that I can sit and enjoy. Because I was all for because there's part of me that was just like they did this movie in the hopes that it would do for the female crowd what Black Panther did for the African American crowd. Like I feel like that was at least in part the thought.
Or I'm all for coattail off the female lead of like Wonder Woman, like what?
They're
trying to say.
Yeah, and and they're trying to get the females to come in and make money off of it. At least in part, I think that was a thought. Obviously, like she's an important character. I don't necessarily know.
She's a strong, badass character.
She is. So, she's supposed to be at least.
She gets cooler in Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess she does. A very small part, but
we'll talk about Endgame.
We'll have to talk about that later because she obviously comes back. We know this.
So there's a development there in a small way.
But what I want to know is
an improvement.
Are we ready to see another film of her? Because it's going to be coming out.
Definitely going to get it
2 years, I think.
I'll give it I'm going to watch it.
I'll watch it. I'll reserve judgment until I start seeing trailers for it because I also haven't watched the Ms. Marvel series, which I believe she's kind of involved in that movie as well.
I don't think so.
Loosely. I don't want to
by word of mouth.
I don't know anything about the plot of this movie. So I know the plot of this movie.
It seems like family.
I think I know the plot of this movie
without spoiling too much because that's down the road. Is the main girl she idolizes and is like obsessed with Captain Marvel.
She's a fan.
Yeah. She's a
fan of the Avengers. Oh, is it? Okay.
Well, she's a huge fan of Captain
her
Marvel.
In particular.
Wants to be just like
her. Yeah.
So that's what plays in the part. You do learn some more stuff, which is kind of cool. That has a little bit more to do with her, but I'm not saying any more until we talk about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I'm gonna be real with you right now. That's gonna be a tough one, I think, for both of you to get through. It was tough for me to get through.
Okay.
So,
series?
I'm gonna piggyback on Aram's excellent point. I'm gonna reserve reservations
until we see some trailers.
You're gonna reserve reservations.
I'm gonna go to a casino and then fucking
get off that reservation.
Then
it's not yours. It's somebody else's. They reserved it first.
I'm at a long day. I won't give you any more excuses. But I agree with everything Aram said because he talks best.
Yeah, I haven't watched Ms. Marvel, and I So I'll wait till I have more information and maybe a trailer before I go, this movie looks like dog shit. I'll be interested. I'm interested to see what they do. I just hope it's a better story told. I feel like better storytelling than this one.
I feel like they're fucking with us, just throwing us all over the place with all these fucking TV shows and movies in Phase 4, and then they're just gonna stick the landing. Eventually, it'll all come together.
Before we finish this up, before we wrap
that's where my faith lies. This isn't fucking Kevin Feige.
How did you like the running joke
about Nick Fury being like really into cats?
In the eye
about the cat patch.
It's about the cat.
It's
like, that's not a cat. It's a flirkin. How would I say this?
It all led to the eye patch, right?
It did.
It did. But
it
led to the eye patch because he got a cat scratch. It wasn't even the fact. It wasn't even in like flirkin form or whatever. Like it literally scratched him as a cat.
Well, even when he's
like, I don't even know if it has a
one of the scrawls goes, no, that's not a cat scratch. It's way worse.
Yeah.
So
oh, it's just a cat scratch.
No. You don't get I don't understand why it was so much worse.
But and now it's
because it's an alien.
Now that
it's not a real cat. It's an alien.
But like I don't know.
So it probably has poison.
I can only hope at this point.
We don't know anything about it.
But I'm so intrigued to hear what Aaron's about to say.
I would have thought a funnier joke if they had all assumed it was a flirkin and it had been a cat the whole time.
I think
that would have been funny.
Yeah.
I
knew you had something good. I like it.
When I was watching it yesterday, and I remember that it wasn't this funny the second time. Like I think when I first watched it or whatever, I was like, oh yeah, that's cute. That's whatever. It worked. But watching it again, I'm like, yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, the way that they react, it would have been great if it was just a cat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was
misdirection.
I was also annoyed because it was a lot of like Nick Fury, badass Nick Fury, drooling over a cat. Like, look at you. You want scratches?
And that's
like, don't fucking stop
stupid.
That.
Holding up the cat like it was gonna fucking
trying to make it attack that one time. He's like,
Dragon Ball Z out of its mouth to the fucking.
Come on, pick a side.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know.
Like I said, the first time I watched this, I think I remember going, oh, that's funny.
It's chuckle worthy for the most part.
But watching it again, I thought it was stupid.
I wonder now that you guys are talking about it. It's probably how I'm gonna feel when I rewatch Thor: Love and Thunder when it comes to the fucking weapon jokes.
I know.
No, not the goats. I love the goats.
Just the jokes.
That's the same as Dumb and Dumber noise. I laugh at the most annoying noise in the world made every time. But no, the axes and the Stormbreaker
Stormbreaker versus
I don't think that's gonna land every time. So
we'll talk about that when we have to rewatch it later.
But that's all my point is as the rewatch capability, it's not going to live up.
Yeah. I think,
and to Jason's point, I think bits of it will be just as funny.
Right.
It just won't, all of it won't be as funny.
They push it too far. They kick the dead horse or goat or whatever you want to call it.
I will 100% say I hated that was how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
and then they
just came down to the butt of the joke thing, like you were saying about him to begin with. He's just a fucking
he's a punchline up to the end. He's a fucking punchline.
And then at the end, they just like, okay, so you're sticking to this lie. Like they just blatantly said, like, all right, we're gonna tell this lie for the next 20
it
30
brought
years.
The respect that we are supposed to hold for Nick Fury.
Exactly.
That's all the way up here.
It diminished his
to child's level.
Yeah.
Like I say, they made him a fucking punchline for the whole
How
movie.
can we take him serious from now on after this film? We're just going to look at him going, you fucking liar. You are a pussy. You lost your eye to a fucking cat.
That level of leadership respect
went down the drain. Yep. It fell and crashed hard into the earth.
Dominoes, motherfucker.
It undercut one of their most popular characters. He's not a superhero, but he has his own action figure in the toy lines. Like,
but to be fair, he was probably the best comedic actor in the film to make all the jokes land, so they had no other choice. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to find silver linings here, but we got comedic actor.
Talking. I mean, if you pull like characters from the MCU,
in this movie. Not sorry.
Well, I'm saying like if you're pulling like having like have her interact with a character that we already know.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd say he's probably the best one to land the comedic bits.
That's all they had.
He's not the best actor to get the comedic bits to land. Like you could have found someone just as good, if not better. I'm sure.
Oh, they could have replaced him with a different fucking character for sure.
I still kind of agree with Jason about the fact that like he should have been a fucking spy. We should have seen Nick Fury, not in the 90s turn into Nick Fury. He should have been Nick Fury from like the 60s. You know what I mean? Like a long time ago. He should have been running this show for a long time. And it's only been what, 20 years?
Yeah.
95,
30 years?
Just under 30. Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
So 95 to 2008. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 13 years.
Like, that's not a long time.
No. to climb that high in rank.
Yeah. He should have been that way earlier in the Cold War.
Yeah, that just means he was killing people behind the scenes to get to the top.
And that's what I frustrate.
That also makes him a badass. So like you can't.
Yeah.
But that knowing his history and him having to tell us his history doesn't really work as much to establish where he's at. And like I agree with you, Aram. He's a fucking punchline, and it just didn't work. It discredited everything he's worked for. So anyway, moving on from that, because we're just gonna go down a fucking tangent. And
are we ready to rank this motherfucker?
Yes, let's rank it.
Right. How many? What, Tim? How
many photon blasts are you gonna give this? 1 to 5 photon blasts.
You know, because it serves a purpose and it needed to be made.
Yeah, I have to give it. Very important.
It's important, so I have to give it like at least a 3.5.
I'm struggling
because I just did not enjoy this movie. Like it just, like I say, it was poorly. Like the storytelling was bad, and I hated what they did to Nick Fury, and
we didn't even talk about the AI.
Yeah,
oh God,
that was terrible.
The supreme intellect or whatever.
Yes, the supreme AI, the one that basically rules the Kree planet.
Yeah,
it's fucking stupid. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, it's a computer virus.
Like most.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Matrix. Basically.
They don't deserve the position.
So 3.5 is kind of where I'm going to sit on it.
Fuck, you're not wrong, Aaron. I was thinking 3, and I was like, because I'm going 3 because I'm feeling. I had a long day. I'm feeling jerkish.
Can't commit. That's fine. I will give it.
But this movie
3.5 as well.
This movie, it's hard to remember anything from it. Like it doesn't stick with you.
I liked it for like overall. I thought I enjoyed the film. I liked the action and whatever. I agree with the story, but that's not what I enjoyed it for.
Yeah.
It was. I think just the character and where we were what we were gonna get from it, like where it was going.
Whatever.
I think that's what I liked. I liked more about what we're going, that they were progressing somewhere. You know, that we're going to get more later on. And I think
you like the fact that there was hope at the end of this movie?
Yes, basically.
So I want to change my rating to whatever I rated Mortal Kombat as, because that's the same fucking shit. Everything Tim just said. I hated the story. I have hope for the fucking
future.
You guys don't, the future. Because that shit, okay, fine, Aaron.
I'm just remember. I remembered us all enjoying Mortal Kombat.
But I agree with what he's saying. It wasn't a great storyline.
I like the characters. There was a setup for like a future
sucked.
this and this. Yeah. All right. That was a terrible. I shouldn't have said it.
But I think we all agreed it was like a 3.4.
Yeah.
Or I mean 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Yeah, it definitely wasn't a 4 or 5 movie.
I'm sticking with I'm landing on a 3.
That's fair. Right. That's fair. I definitely will say that. I hope, I really, really do. I hope that when we get more of her later on, and that the next film that they make of her does something. Because I'm going to give up on the character after that.
Yeah, I just hope the storytelling's better.
Like we've seen Thor grow.
Yeah.
And like all these other characters like become less pieces of shit. And
maybe this is the same thing.
Make the right choices.
Maybe it's the same thing that Thor needed, just to have like a new writer and director come in and say, okay, let's take the character this way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it took it a more comedic route, but I mean, we like Thor better now than we did
Ragnarok,
the first two movies.
At least. Yeah.
But I think this character needed more seriousness, like a Doctor Strange level.
I don't think she needs to be comedic, but I mean, take her the writing and the character to a different direction. Not necessarily
take
comedic,
it more serious, give it more time, give it more.
You can add more depth to that character.
There it is.
And like,
well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think it should be a level of Doctor Strange kind of depth.
Yeah.
I think we should really learn about her Carol Danvers side, and then the superhuman that she needs to be, and dive further into how she balances those two out, being these super galactical power that she is. Because she's huge. She just flies around the galaxy fucking saving planets.
Right.
So,
I mean,
really hope they do some justice.
We need to lock her in a room and never think about shit.
I don't think you want to lock Brie Larson in a room, because the last movie she did. Yeah.
That's why I said
might have PTSD
I'm
after
not
that.
good. I'm not. Yeah.
Apparently she was allergic to cats too. And they used the real cats, except for when she was on scene, and then they used a puppet.
I did not even notice. That's good. The puppet
there was a lot of CGI on that cat too. So
that's true.
Same time also.
Anyway,
I gotta
that has been Captain Marvel. Marvel.
Oh, she's Captain Marvel, and that Benny is Marvel.
Okay.
I will honestly say,
dinner table. She was. What up?
I'm glad this is over. So goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.
It's a flirkin.
I wish it was just the cat.
Would have been better.
Hurt feelings make me laugh.
Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to check us out. Jason, where can we be heard?
I don't know, Tim. Where can we be heard?
Let me tell you where we can be heard. You can find us on all the other platforms that you find podcasts, like iTunes and Amazon Music.
All them places you find all your favorite and popular podcasts.
Yeah, Spotify.
That's where I listen to podcasts, and nowadays you can rate your podcast on there. Go ahead and give us 5 stars on Spotify or any other platform you listen to your favorite podcast on.
And Spotify.
If you want to watch us, you can find us on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Give it a share. You got a comment. All the algorithm stuff. It helps.
And if you want to comment on how bad and terrible we are doing or how ugly we look, just send us an email at banterbros@gmail.com.
And that's A-N-D, you said, between the B's?
A-N-D in between the B. You can also check us out on the multiple social platforms that consume everybody's life, like the YouTube, the Twitch, the Twitter, the TikTokity, and the Instagrammy, including Facebook. So please, come check us out. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.